Well, we're here in the Dodge Durango that we picked up a few weeks ago. This thing was a great deal. It's used, but it only has like 30,000 miles on it, and we got it about half the sticker price of a new one. And this thing has a ton of features in it. It actually has about, I think, $13,000 or so of options in it. And we wanted a lot of the options, so it's got the rear seat DVD players, and then a ton of other options on it as well, the full technology package and everything. But one of the options that we didn't really want, or we didn't think we wanted, was the center console in the back. And so this one has the full-size center console, which is lighted and powered and all that kind of stuff. And it's a great feature, but because we need people to be able to walk through, because we have little kids, without pulling that seat up every time, it's kind of a pain on a daily basis. So what we're going to do is we're going to swap it out today for the mini console. And at first we thought we just wanted the mini console, but after having the full console in for a little while, we realized this is really a great one for trips, and the mini console is going to be good for day-to-day life. So we're going to keep this one around, and it's only 4 bolts to take this out, I believe, so we're going to figure that out. And if it's easy enough, we're just going to put this one in when we go on our summer trips and then take it back out for the school year. So let's see if we can figure out how to take this out, how to change it out, and hopefully it's nice and easy so we can just alternate them whenever we need them. So check it out. All right, so if we look inside the center console here in the back, one of the great things about it is it's got power in it. So we need to figure out what to do with that when we swap it out. It's also got a USB charging port. And because this was such a low mileage, good condition car, it was actually pretty cool. The headphones were still wrapped, and I don't think they had ever been used. And the DVD player is kind of the same thing. So great car, great condition. And so we need to take these out, and there should be some screws underneath here. We're gonna figure out how to take this all apart, and then we will switch these consoles out. Let's do it. So the seat goes up. It has the fold and tumble seats in it. So we're looking at these 2 covers right here, and I believe the screws are under there. All right, 2 covers off. And then we just need to take those 2 bolts out. All right, so now we're going after those 2 bolts in there. They're a size 10, 2 in each side of the console. All right, so we got those bolts out, and now we can actually just lift the center console forward, and you can see the chassis underneath, so let's go ahead and lift it. Okay, you can see it's got a kind of a chassis here underneath with 4 bolts in it. Those 4 bolts go into the mini console, and just that one power adapter there. So we're gonna unplug the power adapter, and we're gonna probably tape that one up. It'll be fine because it'll be under the plastic cover anyways, but I don't want any chance of a problem. So we'll tape that one up so that we can choose to use it when we want, and untape it when we get ready to use it again. Then we just pull these 4 bolts. The mini console actually has the same 4 bolts going in there, so it's a direct swap out, so it should be very nice. All right, so now we need to remove this wiring harness here, which there's just a button on top, a little plastic tab. You press the plastic tab and you can remove that harness, and that takes all the power out. We're going to tape all that up so that we don't have any problems with it. So I open up my owner's manual here, and although they don't tell you a ton of information anymore about actual working on the vehicles, because so much of it is electronic in these now, but they do tell us we've got fuses on page 206. And what I'm looking for is there a fuse specifically for that rear console that we can pull so that there won't be any power to it when we're not using it. And I'm looking here at the page with all the fuses listed. This is page 208 in my owner's manual. And down here in the 90s, you can see 91 power outlet rear seats, 92 rear console lamp, 93 cigar lighter. I think probably 2 of those are the actual power back there. So we're gonna check those out up front, and then we'll test light the, or actually voltmeter the fittings back there in the back and make sure that we've got the power off before we tape all this up and cover it up. All right, so we're gonna test this out. Actually, I realized that there's no 115 power in here. It's just 12 volt power. So we got the 12 volt power on this side. I believe that one, oh, that's backwards there. Why would we get the minus? So this one I believe is the power outlet. And then over here we've got probably the lighting, that's those smaller wires, and maybe the USB charger, those lower amperage ones. So we're gonna pull the fuses and we're gonna make sure that this power's off before we put the mini console on top of this, and then you won't have to worry about anything sparking in here. We wouldn't have to probably worry about that anyways if we just taped it up, but just to be extra cautious, we'll go ahead and pull the fuses out. All right, now we're gonna look for those fuses and see if we can pull those out. Oh, look at that, so beautiful. My wife picked the car, but I picked the engine. We got that Hemi in here. So fuse panel over here. Let's go ahead and see if we can find those fuses and pull them so we won't have to worry about the power back there anymore. All right, so fuse panel, and the beauty is they actually marked them all. Some of you guys may have worked on ones where they just give you the number and then you have to try to reference it all, but they got it all marked here. So we're gonna look and see if we can find where those fuses are. I believe they were in the 90s. Yeah, so we've got over here, power outlet, cargo area, rear console lamp, that's a 10 amp. Power outlet, console, that's the center console. All right, so we'll pull that number 92, and then we're gonna try to see which other one is it, 91 or 93 maybe, I'm not sure. Cigar lighter, I like that, like anybody still lights cigars in the back of their Durango. And then we've got 91 and 92. 91 was the power outlet. Rear cargo area, that's a 20 amp. So that is, that's this one right here. And then the 10 amp is 92, which is the console lamp. So that one we're sure of. It's this one that we're not sure if that's actually the power only in the very back or if that's the power in that center console, so we're gonna figure that out. Okay, so we're gonna test them out again. We pulled one of the fuses. We're trying to figure out what that second fuse was. All right, so that half is dead now. That half is dead now.
Where does this go to? Same one?
Yeah, that one with the bottom left one. No, you can't do them to the same top and bottom. We'll do the bottom left, the one next to that. Red one on the one next to it, yeah. Ooh, okay, so that one still has power. So we still have some power in it. Let's see here. It was 92, which we knew, which is that rear console lamp. And then I didn't know if it was 91 or 93, which is the power outlet, cargo area. In the book, that one actually just says power outlet. It doesn't say cargo area. And then 93 says cigar lighter. So I tried 91 and 93. 91 is not in the console. 93 is the other power in the console. So it's 92 and 93 will turn off the power in the console. So we pull both of those fuses, and I'm gonna make a note of that for when I wanna put the console back in, but now we don't have to worry about any power back there in the console. All right, so we got the power shut off. Now we're gonna pull this wire out because we're gonna remove this chassis because the mini console bolts directly into the floor. So this chassis is coming out too. So these are 10mm bolts as well. All right, got those. Then the chassis just comes out, and we'll probably just be able to put the wires underneath the mini console. Even though we don't have any power, I'm extra cautious, so we'll still tape the end of that just in case somebody were to add those fuses back in later thinking that there was a problem or something like that. All right, so we got our mini console in here. I went to the Chrysler dealer, and this was gonna be like 150 or so. They gave me a printout of the part numbers and everything. And when I went home, I told them I'd think about it, went home, checked online, and one of the other Chrysler dealers was about I think $85, $95, so we saved about 50, 60 bucks. And I think they do that just by how much they have in inventory at the time and how much they think they're going to use the parts. So the prices were not the same at all the dealerships. So we ordered these parts. It actually takes 3 different parts that you'll see. We've got, here's the mini console, which is basically just one big piece of plastic with a couple cup holders in it. But then you actually need a couple of covers as well. So you've got the one cover that goes here on the front, and then there's the Dodge cover. I think it says Dodge, yeah. The Dodge cover as well, which covers the screw holes in the back. So I got those, you know, the part numbers are here. We'll get these part numbers for you down in the description in case you need them. And so all of that was just under 100 bucks. And this is all factory OEM parts. I wasn't gonna buy some aftermarket recreations because I want it to fit right. I want it to look nice, and this is a nice car, so we're gonna do it right. All right, so I taped up our connections here. That's just so in case in a year, you know, somebody is trying to figure out, hey, why doesn't one of the power outlets work, or a cigarette lighter or dome light or something, and they start replacing fuses. I don't want them to put the fuses back in and this be just open power back here. So we know there's no power, but we got that all taped up. Now we're gonna put this console in, and I believe it goes this way. Yep. Okay, so we're gonna just move those out of the way. We're gonna get this tucked in nicely right there at the front, out of the way of the bolts. Okay, so it looks like the way they designed this, it has support feet in the back so that all the pressure is not right there on those bolts. And then it actually uses these two, they're hex heads up front as the front bolts. I don't think it uses the middle ones. Let's cool this. Let's look at the bottom real quick. Yeah, no center holes here. Those two center bolts would actually be under these cup holders, but it doesn't use those. Instead, it uses the front ones. So we're gonna have to take out these two bolts up here, and then I think put some washers on them and use them. So we'll do that, see how it goes. We'll let you know in just a second. Let me get an Allen wrench. So those front bolts worked, but the back ones were too short. So went up to Ace, the helpful place, and got some bolts I'm gonna try. These I think are 6 metric bolts, of course. 6, and then the length is 35 on one of these, and the other one is 40. So that's the 40. Looks like it's probably too much. There you can see the difference in length. So I'll take the shorter one. That one should be just right. So we're gonna throw a washer on it. And I also wanted to put, I got some of these left over from another project. They're just plastic bushings, but I don't know what originally Dodge had inside of here. But right now that's just open plastic, and I don't particularly love that. So I'm gonna drop a bushing down in there first. It'll sit on that little ledge right there. And that screws in nicely. Sorry, I'm doing this one-handed now. My assistant is not here anymore. Okay, that looks good. And then we got 2 covers. So we've got the front cover there for just kind of a little tray. Goes in nice. And then we got back here, we got the Dodge cover, which Dodge faces back. I wasn't sure if you would know, but they actually made the tabs different front and back. So you know you get that in place. And there we have it. We took out the full console and added in the mini console, and it's pretty easy. Probably took 30 minutes of work, and a lot of that was trying to figure out which fuses did what. So now we can switch it back. I plan to switch this back whenever I go up to the mountains or something and need that storage, but then during the school year when the kids are climbing through all the time we can go ahead and put this one back in so they can climb in between the seats instead of having to raise the seat every time they get in and out. So that's good. If you got any questions, let me know. If you like this kind of stuff, subscribe. We're always working on all different kinds of projects, old cars, new cars, all kinds of stuff. Anything mechanical, really, we're always working on. So love making these videos. Hope this helped you out. If you got any questions, let me know. Thanks for checking out Fired Up Garage. We'll talk to you later.